All right, let's talk about something we all have, but probably never think about: the hardest working, most overlooked part of your home. Believe it or not, there's an unseen battlefield raging right above your head. So let me ask you a question. What is your home's first line of defense? I mean, when it comes to protecting you, your family, everything you own from, well, everything outside, what's doing the most work? Yep, you guessed it. It's your roof. And here's the thing. It's not just sitting up there looking pretty. It's locked in a constant, brutal war with its greatest enemy, the environment. It's fighting 24/7, 365. And to really get what that means, we've got to go right to the front lines. So, what we're going to do is zoom in on one specific spot, a place that has some of the craziest weather in the entire country. And here's why. If we can understand how a roof survives there, we can learn how to protect our own homes no matter where we live. It's like a stress test for roofing. And that spot is Glendale, Colorado. It's a small city right on the Front Range of the Rockies. Now, it looks pretty peaceful, right? Well, for a roof, this place is a nonstop, relentless gauntlet of punishment. So let's dive in and see exactly what makes it so tough. Okay, so welcome to the Glendale Gauntlet. What exactly is the local climate throwing at a roof here? Well, it's not just one thing. It's a full-on, multi-pronged attack that pushes every single part of a roofing system to its absolute limit. And the first weapon in its arsenal? It's the altitude. Glendale sits at a whopping 5,400 feet above sea level. So what, right? Well, up here, the air is a lot thinner. That means there's literally less atmosphere to act as a sunscreen for the Earth and for your house. And the consequence of that is huge. Up here, UV radiation just hammers roofing materials. We're talking 25% faster damage than you'd see at sea level. This isn't just a little bit of color fading. No. It's a full-on chemical attack. The UV rays are literally breaking down the asphalt at a molecular level, basically cooking the shingles until they get super brittle and just crack. But the sun? That's only half the battle. Get this. In a single day, the temperature can swing by 40 degrees Fahrenheit, sometimes even more. Think about what that does. It's called thermal cycling. The roof materials expand in the heat of the day, and then they shrink, and I mean dramatically shrink, in the cold of the night. It's like bending a paperclip back and forth. Eventually, it's going to break. Oh, and we're not done yet. Not even close. Glendale is smack dab in the middle of Hail Alley. So you've got these sudden, incredibly intense hailstorms just popping up. Then, in the winter, you've got these heavy, heavy snow loads just sitting on the roof, stressing the whole structure. And then spring comes, and you get these brutal melt-freeze cycles where water refreezes every night. You put it all together, and it is a full-scale, year-round assault. So, okay, what happens when a roof actually starts to lose this war? Well, it's usually not one big dramatic event. It's more like a domino effect. It's a slow, cascading failure that all starts with one tiny little breach. Let's follow the journey of just one drop of water. It all starts with a tiny crack in a shingle, right? Maybe from a piece of hail or from all that sun damage we talked about. The water finds its way in, gets past that first line of defense. Then it works its way through the underlayment. From there, it starts soaking into the wooden bones of your roof, the decking, and it starts to rot. And by the time you see that dreaded brown stain on your ceiling, man, the damage is already done, and it's going to be expensive. And in a place like Glendale, you see these really specific types of failures over and over. You get ice dams forming at the edge of the roof, which act like a wall, forcing water back up underneath the shingles. That intense sun strips away the little protective granules on the shingles, leaving them exposed. But you want to know one of the biggest culprits? It's the flashing. You know that thin metal stuff around chimneys and vents? With all that expanding and contracting, day in and day out, the metal just gets tired. It fatigues, it cracks, and suddenly you've got a super highway for water right into your house. Okay, so this sounds pretty bleak, I know, but it's not a hopeless fight. This is where smart engineering comes into play. You see, you can't just slap any old roof on a house in Glendale and call it a day. You have to build a custom shield, one that's designed specifically to fight back against these extreme conditions. So step one is picking the right gear for the battle. Your standard, basic asphalt shingles and that old-school black felt paper, they just don't stand a chance here. The modern solution is a whole system. It begins with a synthetic underlayment. Now, unlike that old felt paper that rips and can actually absorb water, this stuff is crazy strong, it's stable, and it acts as a genuine second layer of waterproofing. And you pair that with specialized impact-resistant shingles. Now, impact-resistant?
what does that even mean? It's not just some fancy marketing phrase, I promise. To be rated Class 4, a shingle has to pass a brutal scientific test. I want you to picture this. They take a 2-inch solid steel ball, about the size of a pool ball, and drop it from 20 feet up twice in the same spot onto the shingle. And if the shingle doesn't crack or break, it passes. That is the kind of toughness we're talking about.
But here's the key. It is not just about the shingles. A truly tough roof is a complete system where everything works together. You need proper attic ventilation to help manage those insane temperature swings. You need special ice and water shields in all the weak spots, like the valleys and edges. You might even need stronger, reinforced decking to handle the snow. It's a total, holistic defense strategy. All right, so we've spent a lot of time in the mountains of Glendale, Colorado, but now it's time to zoom back out. Let's take everything we've learned and figure out how it applies to your home, no matter where you're watching this from. Because here's the big takeaway. The principles here are universal. Your local climate might not be throwing hail and snow at your roof. Maybe its weapon of choice is the corrosive salt air from the ocean. Or maybe it's the hurricane-force winds down south, or just that blistering, nonstop desert heat. The point is, every single roof is fighting its own unique battle. And that brings us to what might be the single most important idea in all of this. A roof isn't a generic product you just pick out of a brochure. It's a custom-engineered system that has to be designed and built specifically for the place it's going to live. So, the next time you pull into your driveway and look up at your house, don't just see a roof. See the battlefield. And ask yourself, do you know what story the sky is writing on it day after day?